Konnichiwa. So today we are learning 今日はすみません今日はアドベンチャー日本語の教科書の6課の漢字を習いましょう。So today let's learn the chapter 6 Adventure in Japanese textbook Kanji. So Adventure in Japanese chapter 6 Kanji. We are going to go through all of these today. So the first one is relatively simple. 最初のはこれです。That's not the prettiest looking one. Here it is in stroke order style. 1, 2, 3. This one, of course, means mouth. It can also have a more general meaning of opening. The way we usually read it is kuchi. That's the kunyomi. It does have an onyomi of ko, but kuchi is its normal reading that we're going to say just for the word for mouth, kuchi. Let me zoom in a little bit, actually, and bring this right over here. I'll take away this thing. Don't forget, if it's part like the second part of a word, like a compound word, it might be pronounced gucci. Alright, so this is the kanji for mouth. And it can also sometimes just mean opening, but its core meaning is mouth. Okay. じゃあ次の漢字。次の漢字はこれです。次の漢字はこれです。If you recall, this one is the one for I. It can also be related just to kind of something that you would look at, or like the target of something, like the goal. So it has a couple of extra meanings, but its core meaning is I. The way we pronounce this, the kunyomi, is me. It does have an onyomi, moku, moku, me and moku. And here it is in stroke order style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one has 5 strokes in it. はい、次の漢字。That's our next kanji. This one means ear. It can also be used for things related to hearing. The way we say it is mimi. It does have so this is the kunyomi. It does have an onyomi, but we don't really need it for our class, so I'm not going to write it. Stroke order style. This is a little tricky to practice writing, so go slow with this one. When you do that stroke right there, make sure it does not cross through. See, it doesn't cross through, it just touches the bottom of the vertical line. Then the last one does cross through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little tricky to get it all right and to remember which ones cross and which ones just touch. So this is one I do recommend you take time to really practice writing it. However, to be honest, it's not that common of a kanji by itself. However, the caveat to that is it is inside of other kanji, like the kanji for listen. There are 2 different kanji we use for listen, but as an example, there's that one. And it uses the kanji for ear inside of that, of course. And I think the other one, oh my gosh, I wrote that a little weird. I messed up at the bottom of that, but those are two other kanji. So they use the kanji for ear inside. So it is a useful kanji to know. Alright, 次の漢字。これです。This one means hand. And it has several different sub-meanings or like corollary kind of meanings that go with it. It can refer to like a person. Like in English we say like all hands on deck. And we're not referring to their hands, we mean the people. And similarly, you can sometimes use this for that. It can also be related to skill or technique. So like your skillfulness in doing something like with your hands. And so it's got a few sort of metaphorical uses that stretch its meaning from hand to something else. And the reading of it, of course, we already know the word for hand is te. And it has an onyomi. Shu. Shu is its own yomi. Okay, and then the writing, the stroke order. Ichi, ni, san, yon. So the way you write this, make sure that the third stroke is the longest horizontally. Make sure the vertical stroke has a slight bend in it, and most people do write it with that little hook at the end. And this is the kanji for hand, te. Hai, tsugi no kanji. You may recognize that one. That one's the one for father, or dad, of course. And we know its pronunciation. Pronunciation is chichi. It actually has two pronunciations, two readings that are considered kunyomi. So those are the two kunyomi, chichi by itself, or we would put o in front and then to and then san. And its onyomi is fu, as in sofu for grandfather. Here it is in stroke order style. It's like the kanji for 8. And then we just do a little curvy X down below. Hai, ichi, ni, san, yon. And so I'm just going to write an example with that so you can see. O, to, san. O, to, san. All right. And here is the last new single kanji for this. This one, of course, is mother. We're going to pronounce it haha for kunyomi, and then the other kunyomi, of course, is ka. And then we also can have the pronunciation bo, as in sobo, for grandmother. Stroke order style. Ichi, ni, san, yon. Oh, what am I doing? Got distracted there. All right, and then to write the example so you can see this one as well. Yes, by itself you can read it as haha, but if it's inside this word, of course we're going to read it as oka-san. Oka-san. All right. Now in this chapter, they also want you to learn a couple of kanji that use hand. And as I hinted at earlier, they use this in some versions that mean something related to skillfulness, like your ability to use your hands to do something. And so the book would like you to recognize a couple of combinations. This kanji means up or on top. So this is like the upper hand. If you're really good at something, you're going to be jozu. And this kanji is the opposite of up. This is down or under or below. This one is you had the underhand, you're not as good at something. So this one's going to be read as hita. These two readings, as you can tell, do not make use of the normal readings of this kanji, so they're sort of exceptional. Jozu, hita. So we use these two for the skillfulness. I'm good at or skillful at something. I'm bad at or unskillful at something. So jozu, hita. And I want to recap a couple of other combinations that you are expected to know at this point. That one is namae. You don't need to be able to write it, but you should be able to recognize that it means name. And so if you see it on a paper, that's where you write your name. This next one may be new to you. You'll see that that's a really small day. That's a skinny moon. So like we have the sun and we have the moon right next to each other. And then we have a normal sized day or sun. So we see it small with the moon. This is one kanji by itself, and this is one kanji by itself. This we would read as ashita. Ashita means tomorrow. So tomorrow is the bright day, because we have the sun and the moon. They're the things that give us light in the sky at day and night. And so that's going to be our bright day, is tomorrow. And the final one that you should be able to recognize, and you don't necessarily need to know how to write this, but of course it's made up of all things that you do know how to write, so why not practice that? All right, here's the last one. Again, we have a small day. And now we have a whole bunch of other funky stuff. And we have a normal sized day. So we have one kanji, two kanji, and together we read these as yobi, which of course is for day of the week. And so you're not supposed to be able necessarily to write this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, but you should be able to look at them and recognize them and know what they mean. I think these two are relatively simple, and so I would like you to learn to write those. They should appear soon in the kanji that we learn. And so I'm just going to write them right quick right here. Ichi, ni, san, ichi, ni, san. And this means, of course, up or on top of. And this means under or down, something like that. Okay. はい、頑張ってください。よく勉強してください。はい、さよなら。